It was the kind of night that makes you question everything. Bitterly cold, with snowflakes swirling in the wind like tiny frozen daggers. The streets were eerily quiet, the kind of quiet that only comes when the world itself seems to be holding its breath. Yet, in the middle of this storm, one small creature moved with purpose. Her paws, soft and delicate, left faint imprints on the snow. But it was her eyes that told the real story. She wasn't just wandering, lost in the cold. No, she was on a mission. This cat wasn't just braving the storm to survive. She was searching for something, or someone that meant everything to her. And as the camera zoomed in on her tiny frame, we knew she was more than a survivor. She was a warrior on a quest, and every step she took in the snow carried a deep emotional weight. You might be thinking, why a cat? What could possibly be so important that this animal would risk her life walking through such a violent storm? Well, let me tell you, this wasn't just any cat. This was a cat who knew something we didn't. She knew exactly where she was going, even though the blizzard was trying to stop her at every turn. The town was quiet, but behind the closed doors of the homes lining the street, a story was about to unfold. A story that would change the way people think about loyalty, love, and the unbreakable bond between animals and humans. You see, this cat wasn't just searching for a stranger. No, she was searching for someone who had once been her world. But the twist is this, that someone hadn't been around for a long time. What could have possibly happened to the one this cat loved so much, that she would walk through the blinding snow hour after hour, refusing to stop? Her journey wasn't just about survival. It was a deep, personal mission, a promise made and a bond that could never be broken. And as the snowstorm raged around her, this cat's determination became stronger than ever. She wasn't just hoping to find a person, she was hoping to find her way back home. But could she do it? Could she really find the one person she was searching for in a world that had changed so much since she last saw them? Stay tuned, because this journey is just beginning, and what happens next will leave you speechless. As the storm raged on, it felt like the world itself was trying to keep her from reaching her destination. The snow fell harder, the wind howling like a wild beast. Yet this little cat pressed forward, her paws moving with a rhythm that could only be driven by a deep, unshakable purpose. With every step, she fought against the cold, the wind, and even her own exhaustion. But her eyes told a story of love and loss, of something far greater than the physical struggle she was enduring. The path was treacherous, the snow piled higher and higher, covering the road, and the once clear path became a maze of endless white. Each gust of wind made it harder to see, harder to keep going. Yet still, she trudged on. There was no turning back, no giving up. Now you may be wondering, what could drive a cat to take such a perilous journey? What could possibly be worth it? Let's rewind just a little, and take a look at who she was, and who she had lost. This cat wasn't alone in the world. No, she once had a family who loved her dearly. A family who, for reasons unknown to her, was no longer there. Her name was Lily. She was a small cat, but her heart was as big as the world. She'd been adopted as a kitten, raised with a family who treated her as one of their own. There was a special bond between her and the little boy of the house, Ethan. They had grown up together, played together, laughed together. She had never known a love like it. But one day, Ethan's family disappeared. Just like that. No warning, no explanation. One moment, they were there, and the next, nothing. The house was empty, the doors locked. But Lily, loyal as ever, couldn't understand. She waited for days. She waited by the door, by the window, hoping they would return. But they didn't. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Yet Lily never gave up. She never stopped believing that one day they would come back. Maybe they had been in an accident, or perhaps they had to leave in a hurry. Maybe they were lost, just like she felt. But there was something Lily knew that we didn't. She knew something had happened that would lead her back to them. And that's where the storm began. In the quiet hours of the night, when no one else was awake, Lily slipped out of the house, her paws silent against the cold ground. She wasn't sure where she was going, but she felt an undeniable pull, like a magnet pulling her through the storm. She didn't, not even when the snow started to fall. She couldn't explain it, but she knew deep in her heart, she had to find them. But where could she possibly start? What would she do when she finally reached the end of her journey? The answers were waiting out there, in the vast snow-covered expanse, just beyond the edge of her world. And it was there that Lily's story would take an unexpected and incredible turn. The storm was relentless. The cold had crept into her bones, and every step felt like a battle. Lily's once sleek fur, now matted and covered in snow, was the only sign that she was still fighting, still pushing forward. She was no longer walking with the same energy as before. Her steps were slower, her breathing heavier. The world around her seemed to close in, and the wind bit at her face like 1,000 needles. But in her heart she could feel it, the pull to keep going, to not stop. And that's when something incredible happened. As she neared the edge of town, exhausted and near the point of collapse, she noticed something in the distance. Through the swirling snow, something familiar, something comforting, caught her eye. A light, just a small glow, barely visible through the storm. She hesitated for a moment, her legs shaking, her body aching with exhaustion. But she knew this was it. The moment she had been waiting for. Lily didn't even question it. She started moving toward the light. Each step was harder than the last, but her determination burned stronger than the cold. She didn't know if this light meant safety, warmth, or the end of her journey. She didn't know if it was the end of the storm, or just the beginning of something new. As she grew closer, the light grew brighter, and Lily's heart pounded in her chest. She wasn't alone anymore, she could feel it. But as she neared the source of the light, someone came into view. And it wasn't what she expected. It was a person, a woman standing in the doorway of an old house, her silhouette framed by the warm glow of the lights inside. She looked down at the small cat, eyes wide with surprise and concern. But the woman didn't hesitate. She stepped forward, gently reaching out her hand. "Lily," she whispered, as if she had been waiting for this moment her entire life. Lily's heart skipped a beat. The voice was so familiar. And yet it was not the voice of the one she had been searching for. It was a different kind of voice, a soft, caring voice, a voice that made Lily feel like she was finally home. The woman knelt down, her fingers brushing through Lily's fur. The warmth of her touch felt like heaven after hours in the freezing cold. But Lily wasn't done yet. There was still something she needed to find. The woman held Lily close, cradling her in her arms. But Lily didn't settle. She wriggled in her embrace, her eyes searching the yard, the road behind her. "I'm so sorry," the woman said, her voice full of sorrow. "I never thought I'd see you again." But Lily's gaze never wavered. She was still looking for the one she had loved. The one she had lost. She still hadn't found him. And that's when the most surprising twist of all came. The woman, noticing Lily's refusal to rest, turned and began walking back inside the house. She opened the door, and just as Lily was about to follow, the woman stopped. "You're looking for him, aren't you?" she said, her eyes filled with understanding. The woman's question hung in the air like a delicate whisper. "You're looking for him, aren't you?" It was as if she knew exactly what Lily had been through, what the little cat had suffered in her search. Lily's eyes, filled with a mixture of confusion and hope, locked onto the woman's gaze. She hadn't stopped searching, even though she was now safely in her arms. The warmth of the house, and the comfort of being cared for did little to ease the ache in her heart. Lily couldn't explain it, but deep down she knew this wasn't where her journey would end. She had come this far for a reason. She had come to find one person, someone whose absence had haunted her for so long. The woman, understanding the weight of the moment, stepped back, letting Lily go. She bent down to her level and whispered softly, "Come inside, rest. You've come so far, but you can't keep going on like this." Her voice was full of compassion, and for a moment, Lily felt torn. The warmth of the house, the comfort, the promise of rest. It all seemed so perfect. But it wasn't what Lily needed. She wasn't looking for a place to sleep. She wasn't looking for safety. What Lily needed was something far more precious, something she had lost. And no matter how kind the woman's voice, or how warm her embrace, it couldn't take away the longing that filled Lily's heart. In that moment, something unexpected happened. The door behind the woman creaked open, just a little bit wider, and Lily's ears perked up. Her eyes, searching once again, locked onto something else. A figure faintly illuminated from within the house, emerged into the dim light. It wasn't the figure of the man Lily had been searching for, but it was close. A boy young, around the age of the child who had once been her closest companion, stepped forward from behind the woman. He looked at Lily with wide, amazed eyes, as though he recognized her. And there in the soft glow of the house, Lily felt something stir inside her. A feeling of connection, of familiarity. The boy, timid yet curious, crouched down to Lily's level, holding out his hand. "Are you looking for him?" he asked. His voice gentle but filled with an innocence that only a child could possess. Lily stared at him for a moment, her heart racing. It wasn't the man she had known, but this boy reminded her so much of Ethan. Could this be the key she had been searching for all this time? Was this the family she had once known? But Lily didn't make any movement at first. Her mind was a whirlwind of emotions: joy, confusion, hope and fear. She had come so far. She had endured the storm for so long. Was this the end of her journey, or just another step toward what she had been desperately searching for? The boy smiled, a soft, understanding smile. "Don't worry," he said gently. "I think I know who you're looking for." The woman's voice interrupted the moment. "You should rest first, little one," she said. But there was no force in her words, only a gentle suggestion. She wasn't telling Lily to stop, but asking her to take a moment to breathe. But Lily's heart wasn't listening to reason. She wasn't ready to rest. Not yet. Lily turned and walked past the woman, ignoring the warmth of the house, ignoring the invitation to stay. She had come this far, and she couldn't stop now. Not when she was so close. The boy, watching with wide eyes, followed her out into the cold once again. And that's when the woman realized. The cat wasn't just searching for a home, she was searching for something far deeper. Lily's paws pressed into the snow once more, each step more deliberate than the last. The cold nipped at her skin, but she felt a warmth inside her heart, something that kept her going. It was the memory of her old family, the boy she had grown so fond of, and the unshakable belief that no matter how far she walked, no matter how long it took, she would find them again. The road ahead seemed endless, the snow now softer beneath her paws. As the storm finally began to ease, dawn's first light bathed the landscape in a pale golden glow, casting long shadows across the empty streets. But Lily wasn't looking at the surroundings anymore. She wasn't concerned with the cold or the storm. Her heart was fixed on one thing: on finding Ethan, the boy who had once been her whole world. The boy from the house followed, his small footsteps barely audible in the thick snow. But it wasn't him Lily was searching for. It was the man, the one who had disappeared without a trace. The man who had raised her, cared for her, and left her behind without explanation. It was him who she had never stopped believing in. And then, just as Lily's strength began to waver, as her body begged for rest, she saw it. Through the misty glow of the morning light, a familiar figure emerged from the distance. At first it was just a silhouette, walking slowly toward her, his face still hidden in the early morning shadows. But as he came closer, Lily's heart nearly stopped. It was Ethan's father, her beloved owner, the man she had spent so many sleepless nights waiting for, the man she had walked miles through snow and storm to find. "Lily," his voice was hoarse, filled with emotion, as though he hadn't spoken in a long time. His eyes were tired, but when they landed on the small cat, they lit up with recognition and disbelief. Lily's body trembled, but it wasn't from the cold, it was from the sheer weight of the moment. She had found him. She had found the person who meant everything to her, the person who had vanished into the world, leaving her to wonder for so long. And there, in the fading light of the storm, they were reunited. Ethan's father dropped to his knees, his hands trembling, as he reached out to lift Lily into his arms. "I never thought I'd see you again, little one," he whispered, pressing her gently against his chest. "I thought you were lost forever." Lily purred softly, nestling into his embrace. This was home. This was the warmth she had been searching for all along. And as the snow continued to melt around them, the storm seemed to fade into the background, leaving only the warmth of their reunion. The boy, watching from a distance, smiled softly. He understood now. He had seen the bond between this cat and the man, the way they both had held on to hope for so long, even when the world around them seemed to fall apart.
And Lily, she had found the one person she had been searching for all along. The journey was over, but her love and loyalty would never fade. She had walked miles in the snow through the harshest storm, because she believed in the one thing that never let her down.